Hello and welcome to Martin Maths, doing a quick note on data, which could then be used for statistics. So imagine you're working on your IA in your DP course, or you're running some research, or you're doing any sort of project that might require you to collect data in a survey. This might be a business or a political campaign or a national survey on statistics. And so there are two ways to categorize this. One is quantitative data, like anything that has numbers and amounts, and the other is qualitative data. Now, qualitative data will have a quality or a type. Maybe this is the types of food people like, or the football team they support. But there's a limit to how much analysis can be done on qualitative data. Quantitative data, however, will have some numbers involved. Will have amounts. It could be money or time. And this itself can get broken down into two further categories. One is discrete, where you count things, maybe the number of siblings people have, maybe the number of cars people have. And the other is continuous data, data that is then measured. Things like heights and weights. And this data would then be used to do further analysis to get some statistics. Now, when students are running a survey, they'll have several different methods that they can use to collect all their data. Obviously, one of them is simple sample, where they just have a number of items that they're collecting data on, and each has an equal chance of being collected, being sampled. So they would just do simple, random sampling. However, if in that data set there are different categories, subgroups, they might have to have a quota of each. So maybe they wanted to interview different groups. And so imagine this set of counters represents the population, and for some reason they fall into different red, green, blue, yellow categories. So they'd need to have a quota or stratified sample. Two other ways that may be used is a systematic way, systematic sampling, and that's where they might choose to list everyone and interview every 10th person or count every 100th car. And then a final way, and this usually has some problems with it, is convenience sampling, where you might go and stand on a street corner and interview people close to your house. But that might introduce one of the main errors you want to avoid, which is bias. Imagine if you went to the local shop and interviewed everyone outside that shop, it's going to be biased. Because remember, you want to have a data set that is representative. Now, if you want to be representative of the whole population, why don't you just interview the whole population? Well, because of cost and time. It would be impossible, even when you're running a census. So what are the main errors that we try and avoid? Well, as I mentioned, bias is one of them. And there are other things that you want to avoid. First one is a sampling error. And this might be quite tricky to spot. There might be just some characteristic about your sample that is different to the whole population. Another one could be a measurement error. So maybe there are inaccuracies or outliers or anomalies in your data set. Another one would be coverage. So if you're trying to get data for the whole country and you only select certain towns, you might not have covered the whole country. And finally, another one is non-response. So if some people get a postal survey and they don't reply, then that's hard to gather what their opinions would be. So there we go. That's just some points on surveys and samples to collect some data to then later analyze. So please do look at some other videos on how we use statistics for mean, median, mode, and so forth. But there we go. Those are some errors. And that's the start of data. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.